Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is me, Himar Sanaim, the founder and teacher of Speak Academy, and welcome to the podcast Future Speaker presented by Speaker Academy. The idea of doing a podcast has been haunting me for a long time, but there are some problems there. I want the podcast to be in English, so you can understand that there are a few people I can reach to do the podcast. So it was a problem, and at the beginning, I was thinking to do the podcast with ChatGPT, but there was a problem. I mean, ChatGPT doesn't have any perspective. I mean, if I ask any question, if I ask ChatGPT any question, he just put answers in two ways. I mean, from positive sides and from negative side. So if I ask ChatGPT that what do you think or what is your perspective, ChatGPT answers me that I don't have any perspective or I don't have any view. So to continue a podcast with someone with something which doesn't have any perspective, which doesn't have any view, some kind of boring thing. Therefore, I left that idea. So this is the beginning, Alhamdulillah. And in the very first episode of Future Speaker, we got a special guest, and basically, one of my beloved brother. We are known each other for a long time. So first of all, we are going to let our guest to introduce himself. So I know him, but brother, I want you to introduce yourself to our audience. So please.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Tahsin Kamal. I live in Chattogram. Um, Actually, at present, I'm a teacher of English medium school. It's a renowned English medium school in Chattogram, Al Hidayah International School and College. And I have finished my bachelor's from computer science in Islamic International University, IIUC. At present, I'm working and also I'm doing a business. I have a restaurant business. Alhamdulillah, everything is going fine. Mm, that's it.
Okay. So Alhamdulillah, we got someone who is working for an English medium school. So there are lots of things we are going to explore with our guest. You know, what is the purpose of the podcast? The purpose of the podcast is to create more chance to practice English, and yeah, I have a specific purpose that there are a number of students there in our speaker academy. So when they can speak, I have a plan to get them in our podcast to have some gossips with them. So through the gossip style, we can explore more things about English, basically about English. Okay. So, in the very first episode of the podcast, I want to discuss two questions. Certainly they are about English. So, the first question is, why do many people struggle with English? And the second question, not the second question, the second topic is about vocabulary. So as this is the podcast, so I will try to talk from my perspective, and I will let our guest to say something about the topic or about the question from his perspective. Okay. So the first question is, why do many people struggle with English, with learning English actually? What do I mean by struggle of learning English? you know Nowadays we have lots of resources in our country to learn English, to improve our English. If we talk about physical resources, so there are a huge number of resources, like there are a huge number of books. They are on in our book market. There are a huge number of coaching centers, be it online or offline. And if I talk about uh, you know digital resources like videos or PDFs, and we have plenty of them, and they are free. But having all these things, why we can't improve our English? Before diving into the topic, you know I think our guest also agrees with us that English is really an important language for us. This is, I mean, why English is important. English is basically important for for the communication, so that we can communicate with the world. And recently, since the Hasina regime, failed our country, and the dictator Hasina, fled to India, the Indian media started spreading fake news about Bangladesh. I think you know about this.
Yes, yes.
Yes, and there is a key point, and that they started spreading fake news in English, and therefore they reached the world very quickly. If we could reply to them in English, then we also can reach then we also could reach the world, and then we also tell them that no, these are not real news. The real scenario is like this, not like that. Okay, so I think we don't have enough people for representing our country in English. This is what I'm trying to say, that we have lots of things, lots of resources available in our country, but why can't we improve our English? So what do you think, brother Tahsin?
Yes, I agree with you. Uh, Actually, English is very important. Everyone knows that, and the job market, they demand English skills, and it's very important. We all know. The aspect that you talked about, there's a broader view. Yes, in that perspective, there's also important. I'm going to tell about something very fundamental, something more basic. The thing is, I'm actually kind of obsessed about self improvement. So, in case of self improvement, I found that uh, English is mandatory. Without English, we cannot not thrive. We cannot survive in the modern world because in my case, what happened in my case is actually I'm very much obsessed about self improvement and about all the things going on in the modern world. And it's the whole world, modern world is running upon English language. So the all the modern researches, all the modern important books, and all the things, many important things that is necessary, that is important for me, that basically I'm interested about. I found that maximum of those things are in English. So it was very important for me actually. And the second thing is, recently I'm using ChatGPT and artificial intelligence a lot, and it's helping me with my everyday tasks. Every day I'm talking, I need ChatGPT. Actually, it has become a necessity, not a luxury. So I need ChatGPT from every day. And without English, I found that ChatGPT is not that efficient. You can use in Bangla, but it's not that efficient in Bangla as it is in English. And also, the thing is communication, the thing that you said regarding communication, you cannot communicate with the outer world. So the boundary remains very limited if you don't know English. So that being said, English is really important. Um, and what was the next question?
Now the thing is, we know that English is very important. We know that English is an international language. So we know all these things, and we have all the necessary resources available in our country. But I know, despite having all these things, why can't we improve our English? What do you think?
Okay, so basically, I'm not an English teacher. I'm just I teach in an English medium school, and obviously, It's mandatory to take classes in English and that on all that. So I didn't actually research about that thing. So what I can do is I can just give my perspective, and that is, I think the number one difficulty is people are so focused on grammar, which actually I don't prefer. And I'm from an English version background. I In my whole school life, college life, I studied in English medium since my nursery, and I was reading grammar. I was so focused on grammar, my school, my teachers, but actually that didn't help a lot. I didn't get benefited that much. Um, in When I entered my job, actually in the English medium school that I'm currently working on, Al Hidayah School. So my interview was taken by Tohag Bursar. You know Tohag Bursar, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, the writer of Fulton Ninoy and all those books. So Toha sir actually knew that I had very good reading skill. I I read a lot of books, English books, but he knew that I could not speak in English that efficiently. I was not that fluent. So actually grammar didn't help me that much. But he's a very wise guy. He also knew that I will adapt, inshallah. As I entered the culture, I will adapt. As I know the materials, main things, so I will adapt. And that is what happened. So the first thing is I prefer a context based learning, and uh, also the learning has to be the journey has to be layer by layer, not through leaps. The difficulty level must be through layer by layer, and for that we need an experienced teacher or ustad. Uh, that's what I think. And another thing is we have very less exposure. We don't have much exposure, and we don't get to practice uh, speaking a lot. When I entered in my job, I found that at the beginning it was kind of difficult, but I adapted. What I experienced is speaking is mandatory, practicing is mandatory. You just read, that's not enough. So some of the things why people struggle is, I think, the culture is like that. People are not motivated enough, that they don't understand the necessity of learning English. They don't know that for your career English is must. If you want to thrive in the modern world, if you want to communicate with the modern world and all that, he doesn't understand. The culture is not like that, that they don't understand why it's so important to learn English, which makes them they come to learn English with a very weak purpose, or they don't even they are not even interested to learn English because they don't know the importance. So here is a knowledge gap, or what you might say. That's what I think.
Okay. Okay, great. So you really, pointed out the important things. So, as an English teacher, or I have been working, I have been working as an English teacher for a while. And when I was in madrasa, I also would try to, train our students to improve their English. So when I started Speaker Academy, I started by the batch for pro speakers. I mean, for adults, and we ran 5 batches for adults people. Okay, the 5 batches we got, nearly, I mean, more than 200 people. More than 200 people we got in our 5 batches. But the adversity, I could say adversity. The adversity is we didn't find 10 people who actually finished, who actually accomplished or completed their course. I became so, what should I say? Demotivated to run the Speaker Academy. Like, if I don't get any result, if I don't get any student who can speak, then how can I show that Speaker Academy is a trusted platform for learning English? So I have to show some results. But we got, we are getting lots of people who are purchasing the course, but they are not completing. So I got one thing that which could be, and you also pointed that out, that people are not, aware about themselves. They actually don't know why they need to learn English or why they want to learn English. And from my perspective, I think that most of the students, they think that English, that everyone is saying English is an international language. Everyone is saying that you should learn English, you should improve English, and if you want to thrive in your career, in your job market, or what, in your studies, then you have to learn English. They know this, but they are not aware about this. Therefore, they can't keep their motivations up. They can't maintain their motivations. And after a week, after, or 2 weeks, they got demotivated, and they left the batch. They didn't complete their course. And this is what happened, with the Speaker Academy. And this is not only Speaker Academy. As far I know, that it happens to, like every coaching center, that people are purchasing the course, but they are not completing this. And this is, somehow, demotivates that the teacher. This is somehow demotivates the coaching center as well. And secondly, I want to talk about vocabulary. How can we improve vocabulary? In terms of speaking, vocabulary plays an important role. Like, if I don't have enough vocabulary, I can't speak. If I don't have enough vocabulary, I can't communicate with anyone, or I can't talk on any kind of topic. So we have, we don't have enough vocabulary. We just have some basic vocabularies. So the thing is, we know that vocabulary, or improving vocabulary, is very important. But in our country, the way people try to improve their vocabulary is not correct, from my perspective. What do? We actually buy vocabulary books and we try to memorize them. And why I'm saying that this is not correct? Because why we need vocabulary? We need vocabulary so that we can use them. But by memorizing vocabulary, we are missing the important thing. We are missing that how can, or how to use the vocabulary. We are missing the usage of vocabulary. Okay, so people are really very, I'm serious about buying vocabulary books, and they are memorizing all the vocabularies. And many people told me that I have a wider range of vocabulary, but when it's time to speak, I just go blank. I can't remember any word, but when I listen, I can understand. When I read, I can understand. But what happens to me when I want to speak? So therefore, I think that the important, or the best way to improve vocabulary is reading and listening. Okay, and here, this is not only I think. I think you know Shoshi Tharoor. Do you know Shoshi Tharoor? Shoshi Tharoor. Okay, and he is an, globally acknowledged person, and he is globally acknowledged as a man of vocabulary. There is a saying that English people needs to look up to dictionary to understand Shoshi Tharoor. Okay, so in a seminar, a student asked him that you know a wider range of vocabulary, so please give us a new word to the crowd. To make the seminar memorable. So Shoshisaru said that I will give you an old world word, and the word is read. So if you read, your vocabulary, will be improved gradually or naturally. So what do you think about this?
Uh, yes, what you said. Uh, I also think that this is the way to improve vocabulary, that's reading and listening. I also want to add something else, that is, the journey has to be consistent, and it will be very good if the learner can stay playful in the journey. Otherwise, he might get demotivated and leave the journey. The point is to keep the journey going on, and to and to be consistent. Uh, and for that, we need to reduce the complexity. To reduce the complexity, you what you say, that's important. People just buy so many vocab books, and they keep learning, and what they are doing actually, they're learning 50 words a day, and after 1 week they're forgetting 49 words, remembering one word. So what's the point? The point, it would be much better if they learn 10 words and they remember 10 words after 1 week. That would be a more productive approach. If they learn 10 words, at least they remember 7 words, rather than learning 50 words and forgetting 30 to 40 words. In that way, they will be demotivated. The point is to be consistent, and if they get demotivated, that's a problem. So, to reduce the complexity, they have to stick to their interest. They have to listen and read which goes with their interest. They can read books that about a topic that he's interested about. They can listen things that they are interested about. And also, I want to add another important thing is, they have to choose the difficulty level. What difficulty level are they listening or reading? Like, they cannot. uh, I am One of my favorite author is Nassim Taleb. So a beginner learner who is just right at the beginning of his journey, he cannot read books of Nassim Taleb. If he read it, he will get frustrated, and that's a problem. So at first, he have to choose the difficulty level. Also, it's a kind of tricky thing. So this is why you need actually a teacher here. So at first, he has to in while choosing the difficulty level, he has to keep two things in mind. Number one is, he have to choose the difficulty level which is at his current level, and also a bit which makes him get out of his comfort zone, which is kind of feels like discomforting, but it's beneficial. So this is what I think.
To our viewers, if you are just thinking to start your learning, you should listen to the podcast. And if you are just and if you're learning, if you started learning and you are thinking that sometimes you are you lose your motivation, then also listen to the podcast. So if you are aware about your life, about why you need English, about how can English help you in your studies, in your career. So first you can set a goal that yes, within this span of time I should become a fluent speaker. So this is how we can maintain our motivations. Or I mean, what do you think about maintaining our motivations? So after that we will end our podcast. So how do you motivate yourself, or how do you or what do you suggest for maintaining motivation?
Actually, my case, my motivation came. Uh, I can actually put it in words because it came internally. Yeah, I was forced to. I was facing some problems. I had to study, and to study, the materials were all in English. So I was obsessed with the materials because I had to fix my problems. To fix my problems, I had to read the books. While reading the books, my alhamdulillah, my vocab, my skills improved. So that's a different thing. What I might suggest is, uh, just keep consistent, and a sense of accomplishment is very necessary. You need a sense of accomplishment. So make a copy only for your English vocabs. For example, you are trying to increase your vocabs. So I will suggest that at first focus on the high frequency words, the words that we use frequently. Don't go for for example, there are two words. Let me give an example. For example, nine by is articulate, or otherwise I can use nine by is eloquent. So you have to choose which one do people use more frequently. Is it eloquent or is it articulate? So go for the high frequency words, and there are good books and there are suggestions for that. Uh, that's it.
If a student wants to learn English, so my first question is, why do you want to learn English? So if I says that I want to get a better job, so I would say that every day try to dream that if I get this job, my life would be in that place, and I can have that kind of life. So yes, I have to learn this. Yes, I have to improve this. Okay, I mean, this is the way. This is a kind of way, or this is could be one of the ways we can keep up our motivations, or we can maintain our motivations. So do you want to add anything?
Yes, that is a very important thing. That actually helps in developing the vision, and also for to keep the motivation. You have to also keep the motivation stable. It can be fleeting. It just goes up and down. So in this case, actually developing the skill is comes very this is where the developing the skill is very important. When your skill develops, this boosts motivation. That's it.
Okay, so Tahsin Bhai, again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving your time, and also thanks to the audience for listening us. And hope to see you again in another episode. And inshallah, we hope that we will get Tahsin Bhai in our any episode in future. Inshallah. So this is all for today, and thanks again. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.